Fabulous. Awesome. So I'm so glad you guys are here. And I know, I appreciate the fact that it is so hot and steamy, and that can be really a drag. So you're welcome that I checked the weather there, because the last thing you want to do in a super hot heat wave is to kind of stress your body with a really serious, strenuous workout. So tonight, we're going to be having a very peaceful practice. And I got to say, I had some really nice feedback from folks who did Monday's class. Thank you for that. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. And I'm doing, not that I was a slacker before in live classes, but when I'm not interacting with you guys face to face in person, I find I'm actually in a position where I have to be a little bit more rigorous about my lesson planning, which I've had years of just kind of going, I'll see what they need when they get there. So anyway, Monday's class that we did on Monday was a request, and I really enjoyed it. I felt great afterwards. I hope you guys did too. And then I got a request to, because on Monday we did kind of the thoracic spine, so that mid back. And then I got the request to do the downstairs. So that's what we're going to do tonight. We are going to approach this from an Iyengar perspective. So Iyengar is a little bit more along the line of, like, Monday, what we were doing was what I would call more so yoga therapy. Today, we are doing a more restorative approach, slightly different, but still really cool. So we're going to focus on, I know I kind of said hips and hip flexors. We're really also going to tap into our hamstrings, which is why I'm asking you to have some kind of a strap handy. So either the belt of a bathrobe, you could use an actual belt. You can use a yoga strap if you have one, or even just a towel would be great. Some cushions will be helpful. Obviously fluids to drink. And then if you have a blanket or a towel handy, great. If not, don't worry, you're not going to need it. And some of you are outside. I would like to do a little bit with a chair off the top, but Lisa, you don't need to worry about it. Don't run inside and get a chair. Oh, you've got one, perfect. If you don't have a chair, I mean, you can find a chair, but we're going to do things like a half down dog, so standing down dog. And also kind of a variation of the triangle using a chair. So if I keep going like this, it's because there's a massive storm outside and everything keeps hitting the windows. I'm like, oh my God, I hope the house doesn't blow down. If it does, it's been a real slice. Anyway, so welcome to an Iyengar practice tonight. Take it easy, take it slow, lots of deep breathing. And if you're not feeling comfortable with anything, please just continue to peace out and participate any way you can. Also, please keep in mind, if you are feeling lightheaded or faint because of the heat, please do take that break. Super important. You don't want to have a heat stroke issue, especially not online. That would be a real drag. So with that, I invite you to start tonight. Just stretch out on your back on the floor. I'm going to change my camera view. That's better. Like a pen and paper, all my notes are here. Dolly is joining us tonight for the adventure. And I'm going to invite you to stretch out on your back. And I want you to try and extend your legs, because this is an opportunity to do a little bit of a check-in and see what's happening through the low back and kind of through the rest of the body. So just lowering down. My feet are more than hip width apart right now, and yours can be wherever they need to be, but I'm finding this is a little bit more comfortable. I just want to take a moment and really plant my shoulders. I like to give a little wiggle through the hips. And then I'm going to relax if you're kind of clenching the glutes or the bum cheeks. Just kind of soften a little bit. And let's bring one hand to the tummy and let's bring one hand to the heart. All the beautiful work we did on Monday was about physical and emotional strength. And the heart center is our center of compassion. So let's just kind of circulate some energy from the solar plexus to the heart. Strength and compassion kind of going back and forth. And then let's just bring the hands down to rest on either side of the hips. So we're going to take one really deep breath, pull the fingers up over top of your head, point your toes, stretch through the fingers, and then exhale and relax. So we're going to take a moment now and kind of move into a standing posture. This isn't a beautiful, graceful flow at this point. So just kind of bring your knees back. If you need to roll onto your side, you can. I like to do a little bit of a roll up and forward. So whatever works for you that way. And you're going to come up to standing. I'm going to just switch my screen again. Perfect. Good. Okay. Nice. I feel like I'm making a fort with all of the cushions here. Beautiful. So we're getting off the floor fairly quickly and coming into a standing posture for one main reason. If your low back was not feeling good with the legs extended, you don't want to hold that posture for very long. It's interesting, I felt so much tension released from my body after Monday's practice, but my low back and hips are tight, and that's because I've been sitting in a bad chair all day. So being on the floor, I felt like everything was here. I just felt like, you know, and even when I was telling my bum cheeks to just let it go, they weren't. There was still this rigidity. There was still this inability to let go. So that's why we're going to do the following postures. We want to start by stretching and lengthening the hamstrings, stretching and lengthening the upper body. And then once all of that's in place, we're going to come back down to the mat, use some props, and go even further. Again, we're going to hold the poses for a longer period of time, lots of deep breathing. And I'm going to encourage you, if you can, breathing in and out through the nose. Okay, so we do need a chair to begin. Oops. I'm just gonna make sure everybody is muted. Mute. There we go. We keep switching over to Karen's house. Okay. So with our chair in place, you're just going to face that chair, and I'm going to do this forward, but I'm going to ask you to do this facing the chair, and your chair can be wherever it needs to be. We're going to start in a mountain pose. So to do that, we spread our toes nice and wide apart, lift up through the arches, tuck your hips under. So we're lifting up and back through the core. Pull your shoulders up and back. Let them slide down. Arms are going to drop, palms forward. Lengthen through your neck, soften the face. All of this stuff is happening, and we're going to breathe. So as you're holding and breathing with your eyes closed, draw your attention to that low back area. And again, kind of check in, see what's happening. Straighten your legs a little bit more if you can. Pull the arms down further. Good, let's inhale, sweep the arms up into the air, connecting the hands over the head, looking up, and hold here for a few breaths in and out, lengthening and really stretching. So we're pulling up through the hands, dropping down through the hips. I'm gonna bring my chin down, and then just roll your shoulders down behind. Good. So now I'm gonna face my chair, assuming you guys are already facing your chairs. We're going to sweep up, feet first. So my feet are going to be hip width apart, maybe a tiny bit wider, going from the iliac crests. Inhale, sweeping up, lengthening. And as you exhale, swan dive, lead with the chest, slow, slow, slow. Legs are straight, back is lengthening here. And then find your chair. And I've just placed my hands on the chair. I'm not sinking into it. I'm barely touching it. In fact, now I'm not touching it. And I'm just gonna hold like this for a moment, and this allows me to straighten my legs even more, pulling up and back through my core. And now I'm gonna start to sink those hands forward. We're gonna hold this for a little while. If you can, move your head so your ears are between your arms. This is a really active pose. Again, draw your attention to that low back. What's happening? What's happening around the sacrum? What's happening in your hips? And if possible, your gaze should be between your big toes. Slowly bend your knees. Start to pull the hands back. This is a very gentle release through the shoulders, nothing stressful. Drop the hands down. And then we're going to roll up bit by bit by bit. It's coming all the way up. Roll the shoulders back. We're not going to even sweep the arms up. We're just going to gently put the shoulders back where they belong, which is up, back, and down. Bring the hips back under. Good. So let's do that again. You should feel this excitement happening in the back of your quads. I call it excitement. I should probably use another word. But we want to do that again. And it's really about just lengthening through the legs. And this time, I'm going to see if you can create some space along the spine. And we'll talk about that when we get into the posture. So again, sweeping up, hips are tucked under, nice and tall, breathing in. Exhale, slow swan dive here. As I'm coming forward, I'm pulling back through the core and my legs are straight. I'm going to bring my hands just to the edge of the chair. Just kind of energetically connect with it. Straightening the legs even more. So many deep breaths. And if this is comfortable for you, you could stay here. It's nice to stretch out through the neck. And then if you want to bring the hands further into this, very slow, very intentional. And if possible, the goal is to bring the ears between the arms. Be patient with yourself, be patient with your body. Give it the time and the space to respond and expand. And now to create some additional space, I want you to think if you can add a subtle stretch here, Pulling back slightly through the hips. Feel a pull around the base of the scapula. And after the work we did on Monday, your back should be able to say, yeah, I remember, I'm up for this. Beautiful. Soften through your knees, pull the hands back. Fingertips come down, drop your head, please. And then slowly rolling up. All the way up. Shoulders move to back body. I'm dealing with a little bit of a wedgie. Problem solved. It's all good now. Let's bring the hands to the heart and just acknowledge the energy that is flowing down. We want to just hold it by the heart, compassion for ourselves. Close your eyes and think about what's going on in the body. Hopefully it's good. Beautiful. Release the hands. Nice. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of a modified, almost a modified triangle-ish pose, again using the chair. So I'm going to step back a little bit further, and I'm going to invite you to, I'm going to put my left foot out on an angle. You can do that too, it doesn't really matter. But my left foot's going to come out on a slight angle, just like we would for any kind of warrior or warrior two posture. And then I'm going to step a big step forward with my right foot. Find that beautiful balance between the two. You want to feel like you've got this weight hanging right under the midline of your body. That has some imagery I'm not always comfortable with, but I'll let you fill in the blanks. Okay, so we're holding this a little bit longer before we do anything else. We want to make sure our feet are gripping the floor. You're lifting up through the legs, lengthening, stretching, pulling up and back through the core. Shoulders drop down. Take a moment, push into your back heel. And the reason I say that is because I do this posture and I get lazy and my knee starts to soften. So I constantly have to be pushing down. It's all about notice, 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 adjust, notice, breathe. Sweep your arms up and align them with the ears. And while you're here, so my left foot is back. I'm going to start to bring my left hip up a little bit further. So it's just going to move forward so I'm square with the chair. That rhymes, square with the chair. At least it does in my head. And I'm stretching up even further. And then I'm going to start to lower down. Actually, let's swan dive this. Just like we did for the down dog modification. So bring the arms down. Fingertips come to the chair. I like this chair. I can put my fingers right through it. How fun is that? And just hang out to begin. I love this. For those of you who have the chairs facing the camera and they have those slats, you look like you're in jail. It's adorable. Yoga jail. Yoga jail Babsies. Going to be my new show. Okay. So hopefully this is feeling good. I'm starting to feel chatty, which means endorphins are flowing, which means this is uncomfortable. And that's your little reward. If you're feeling okay with the legs like this and you're feeling that you want to go a little bit deeper, then please do so. You can move your arms down. You can move to a forearm. You could, I'm going to move my chair to do this. Again, bring the head down with the ears between the arms. Legs remain straight and strong. Keep a deep breath. And again, if you've gone down and it's just not working for you, come up, which is what I just did. And the reason I moved back up is because my breath became more shallow. That is such a sign of you've gone too far. To release this, soften the front knee, lift the chest, pull your shoulders back, And then a little bit of a push up. And then I'm going to pull the foot all the way back. Good. Last week, we did a yin class, and that's what we were talking about, being able to notice your edge and understand your edge. And that edge is that point that you get to where, you know, you've been pushing and you can keep pushing and you can go further, but you get a sign, you get that communication back to your body going, hold on. It just got hard to breathe. And this is an evening practice. And this is about releasing tension. So why would we keep striving? And so when I pulled back out of that posture, it's a sense of relief and that reminder to us in everyday life that, you know what, we can pull back. We're still going to be fine. We're not less of a person because we've pulled back and said, I don't need to be at my limit. I can see my limit, but I don't need to be there. A little bit of wisdom. All right, let's do the other side. It's the endorphins that get me rambling. Right foot's out on an angle this time, hips are tucked under, and I'm going to step forward with the left foot. Nice and tall and strong. Facing your chair, squaring off the hips a little bit more. Sweeping up, please. Tall and strong. And the reminder to myself, because my back knees started to soften, keeping it strong and solid. Swan dive forward. Find your chair. The hips can keep moving with this. If you're finding in that diagram that I posted on social media today, there were a lot of really good kind of indications of where like the TFL is and the piriformis. So right now I'm feeling a really nice stretch through my piriformis. So I might just twist it a little bit. You don't have to, but I like to do that. And then again, if you want to ease into this, follow your breath, follow your heart. And then slowly starting to come up. A little bit of a bend in the front knee so we can just gently push up using our big muscles. And then moving back. Excellent, good. So we're going to leave the chairs. We'll use them at the end of the practice, so we're just going to push them away. Hopefully, again, this is all about learning how we can use props in different ways. Everybody's got chairs. And it's just nice to take our time a little bit longer and notice how that stretch is doing. I found that stretch was really intense through the hamstrings, but I was also liking what it was doing for the upper back, that kind of really nice recognition that everything is connected and everything is integrated in our bodily systems. Before we come down to the mat, I want to encourage you to just take a moment and we're going to do a tree pose. And what I want you to focus on for this, and again, if you need to hold on to something for balance, that's wonderful, not a problem. This isn't about the balance. We're just going to do the first little bit of hip opening this way. So let's start with a gentle second position. And for second position, we're going to stay beneath the knee. If that doesn't work for you, you keep your foot on the floor. But what I want you to do is, and I get lazy with this and kind of put my toes wherever, I want your toes facing down towards the floor. I've got a really strong supporting leg, core is tight. I'm going to bring my foot up, kind of lost in my pants. But the toes are pointing down. I'm almost pointing down too, tripping and falling here. Doesn't matter what you're doing with your arms, you can do whatever you like. You can have your hands on your hips if you're feeling sassy. But I want you to focus on the feelings in the hip area, kind of in through the groin, bathing suit area. And try and get that knee a little bit further out to the side. Deep breaths. Good. Knees center and down. It's intense. Let's move to the other side. Again, just bringing the foot up to the calf. You're staying beneath the knee. Toes are pointing down. Knee is moving out towards the side. And again, really focusing on what's happening in that area. Good stuff. Let's bring the knee to center and down. Join me in a little bit of a release because it looks funky and it feels good. Little figure eight, core tight, figure eight. Mostly I want Lisa to have to do this because she's outside of, in my mind, she's got a crowd. Awesome, good. Okay, I'm going to invite you to, if you want to go back to second position, you can. If you want to try the third position and hold on to a chair, you can do that as well. Third position, you are going to bring that foot all the way up, again, to the bathing suit area. You don't want to have your foot on the knee. And again, toes down. This is where I get so lazy myself in my own practice. I'll have my toes pointing, whatever. We're going to point the toes down. And by that, I mean pulling all the way up. And making sure those toes are pointing down to the floor. And your arms are going to do whatever you want your arms to do. Deep breaths. You guys look beautiful. Good. A gentle release. Maybe roll a hip or two. We're going to move to the other side. Last bit of standing postures before we peace out on the floor. I'm going to pull all the way up. Maybe I'll try that again. Toes are pointing down. Good. I just needed some extra time to catch up with everybody. Noticing what's happening. This range of motion is going to come back when we're on the floor, and releasing. Good stuff. Okay, I'm going to invite you to come back down to the floor now. You will need your strap, and I'm just going to adjust my camera. I hate doing this when you guys have to see it. It's such a drag, but be able to see what's going on with everybody. Here we go. All right. A little notepad there. Move my chair out of the way. Perfect. Okay. So we are going to come down to the back. This is where your strap really starts to matter. And the strap is used so we can really lengthen and straighten the leg that we're using, or both legs. And for those of us who do leg extensions, and we do them a lot when you work with me because I like how they feel and it's a great release for the hamstrings. I hope you love how it feels with the strap. We don't normally use them in my live classes because I don't bring them for everybody. So this is going to be, I hope, a treat. Again, notice your breath. You don't want to be going further than feels good for you. Okay. So join me in dropping down to your back. I'm just fixing my hair. And let's take a really quick moment to check in with the low back. So stretch out your legs. Shoulders back. And notice what's happening in this area. Even with those few postures that we did, and my hips, like I wish sometimes I could express completely what a mess my hips are, because of how badly I might have been sitting through far too many phone meetings today. Political life is a killer for the back. Anyway, what's happening now compared to when we started the class for me is really remarkable and an important reminder that a little bit of targeted attention does wonders. So I'm proud of myself. And I'm really thankful that this class got requested. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to start by bringing my left knee in to the tummy. So you guys can bring your left knee in too, please. And just a traditional knee to tummy pose. Holding here, letting the low back stretch out. Notice where the breath is. And then we're going to grab that strap. Hook it around your foot. Sometimes people like make a little lasso. I'm not that fancy. And then I want you to slowly start to extend your leg up into the air. Throughout the rest of the practice, when we are using this strap, you have to find, I don't want to say balance, because balance, I think, is overrated. You need to find homeostasis, this beautiful equilibrium between pulling back on the foot and pushing up through the legs. So when I mean pulling back, I mean using the arms. So you want that balance between extending the leg, because the leg has to be active. I'm pushing up into my strap, but I can manipulate it a little bit with the arms. Please join me in doing a little bit of a kind of climbing up the rope action. So you want to reach up until your arm is fairly straight, right? So if you're down here, walking your way up. And then take a moment to soften, so this is my shoulder that's away from the camera. I'm just going to ease back a tiny bit because my shoulder was rolling up, so I'm easing it back. It's all about noticing and making those little adjustments. And right now you're probably noticing that the leg is starting to talk back. Maybe the arm, I'm feeling this in the bicep. I don't have very strong arms. So wherever you're feeling this, just kind of breathe, notice. And then we're going to switch it up. So I'm going to invite you to pull the other knee up and back to the tummy. And then introduce the second foot. Again, walking your hands up. I'm actually going to switch to the other arm at this point, just to give my left arm a little bit of a break. Again, find your edge, back it off. Make sure the feet are still pushing up, the arm has some control. And now I'm slowly going to release my left leg out of the mix. So keep the right leg pushing up. Left leg is going to start to sink down. And foot comes to the floor. Adjust the strap to make sure it's still comfortably strong. Shoulders sink back. Lots of deep breaths. Good. I'm going to slide my left leg out. Really breathing deeply down. So I'm noticing I'm struggling at this point. My elbow is bending. I feel like I'm grinding my teeth. So I'm going to take a deep breath, straighten the leg, readjust the hands and arms. And sink my dang shoulder back into the floor. There are moments, like in a practice like this, when you go between feeling this is a dance and a struggle, right? Like I feel like I'm fighting myself to relax into this. If you just hold it a little bit longer and find that sweet spot, again, that sense of equilibrium happens. Good. One more little push up here, and then let's soften, bring that leg down, take it out of the strap. And slide the leg out. And just take a couple of breaths here. Notice again what has happened in your low back. I feel bad. If your low back was fine when you started this class, you're going to be feeling nothing. You're going to be like, same diff. But if there was tightness or tension, I hope you're feeling a little bit of a release. And I have to say that's something that I miss about doing a live class with people, with other people in the room, because it's usually at that moment when people start to feel a release that they get a little giddy and we start joking, and I miss that. So that's in my mind, that beautiful memory. So thank you. Thank you for all the people who laughed at me in classes. Okay, so hopefully everybody feels okay. We're going to move into the next stretch. Again, going back to a leg extension using the strap. This time we're going to change our range of motion. I'm going to start with the leg that is the closest to the camera. So that's my right leg. I'm going to pull my knee back. Lasso that foot and extending it up. Deep breaths. Walking my hand up and sinking my shoulder down. Good. So what we're going to do here, folks, is we're going to start to bring that foot out towards the camera. So my right foot is going to go out to the right side. And I want you to do this really slowly, really mindfully. Left shoulder, left hip are staying on the floor. If you need to extend an arm out, go for it. And guess what needs to engage right now? Your core. I'm going to invite you, if it's comfortable, to start to slide your hand down the strap. Make sure you don't lose it. And if you can, get your forearm to the floor and hold it here. Make sure the leg stays straight. Again, this is the part that feels probably more like a struggle than a dance. And it feels stretching through the fascia or the fascia of your core as you're moving into this twist. And be gentle with your wrists. You need to adjust. One more deep breath in, please. And to exhale, we're going to do this gently by bending the knee. Guide your foot back. And let's physically support this knee coming back. Good. Unhook it. Slide your foot out. Feel bad, I kind of cut Dolly out of the camera, but she's just sleeping, so. Okay, let's pull the other knee in, the other being the left in my world. Hooking that foot. Extend your leg up.
I'm always so interested in how stretches that I do on a regular basis, when I shift it or change it, like, because you guys know I don't normally do stuff with straps, and I will tell you right now, I'm so grateful for this request to do an Iyengar styled class, because I am feeling releases in my IT band. Joyce, that's been an area of issue for you, I know, so notice if you're feeling that. I'm so excited about this, thank you. Hope you guys feel that too. And if not, pretend. Okay, so let's slowly start to bring this leg out to the side, again, very slowly and mindfully. I'm gonna bring my opposite arm out for some counterbalance. And then I'm gonna slide my hand down, a little faster than maybe it should. And balancing on that forearm. Leg is fairly straight. So this is my edge, and I've gone too far, so I'm going to come up a little bit here. And I'm just going to hold it in place. So I'm going to move off of the forearm, take some deep breaths, and then I'm going to reapproach this in a few moments. And please feel free to do that. And I do that once I have the breath start to deepen. I have a gauge through my core. And I'm bending the knee and gently pulling back to center. Good. Unhooking the knee. Let's bring both knees into the tummy, please. Shoulders move back, maybe a little bit of mermaid action, maybe a little bit of twisting on the mat. That's going to feel horrible if you're sweaty, I'm sorry. Me and my 4 layers of clothing here, it feels great. Let's bring the feet to the floor, take a breath. We're going to do a stretch, one more on each side. And this time we're going to cross the midline. So we're going to be coming up with the leg and then across it over to the opposite side. Again, be mindful of how your low back feels. If you're feeling like it's spasmy, don't do this one. Just rest or find a stretch that we already did that you're comfortable with. Okay. I'm going to slide my right leg out. I'm going to go back to my left leg, left foot, lasso in place. Really setting this up beautifully. Now I'm going to move across the midline. I'm going to move slowly here and really trying to keep that leg straight. And again, guess what? We're going to come down to the forearm. So this is intense. Again, the fascia is kind of twisting and pulling. And just breathe through it. If you need to ease off or take a break, do it. And then bending that knee and coming back to center. And melting out of this. Stretch out your left leg. And bring the knee back. Lasso your right foot up into the air. Nice deep breaths to begin. And then slowly starting to lower across the midline of the body. I'm holding on with the wrong arm, so I'm going to switch so that I can actually come down to the forearm. Trying to keep that leg straight. Trying to breathe. Good. Bending the knee. Rolling back over. Undoing the lasso. Stretch out on the mat. Close your eyes and just drift. We're gonna, if you're comfortable staying in this posture, I'm just checking our time, but I want you to see if we can hold it on our backs here for maybe about 15 seconds or so. Okay. Tighten through your core, pull both knees up onto the tummy, and gently bring the shoulders back. We're going to just do a little bit of range of motion here. So I'm pulling my left knee in while kind of pushing away on my right knee. And then I'm going to switch. I'm just going to gently add a side-to-side motion as I do this. So we're just kind of churning stuff up, increasing the blood flow. We're going to do one more stretch because we have a little bit of time left. That makes me super happy. Let's bring the feet down to the floor. Just take a moment before we do this next stretch. Place your fingers, pull them up over top of your head. My knees are resting against each other now. And just have a little bit of an upper body stretch. Maybe lift up through the back. And then sinking out of that. Good. Okay. Once more with lassoing the foot. So I'm going to start with my left foot. Doesn't matter which you use. I'm going to stretch out the right leg. Lasso the left. Leg comes up into the air. So again, I'm kind of sharing my observations tonight. So my left hip is usually my tight one, but I was finding with all the range of motion tonight, it was my right side that was really, really struggling. And I love those, I don't love that my right side was struggling, but I love that kind of ability to notice something that isn't as you expect. The other thing I'm noticing is I'm feeling fatigue now in my left quad along the IT band, which you guys can't see me pointing to because it's away from the camera. But these are interesting things. It shows me that I've really been working this area. And again, with the strap, people always think when you use props, it makes it easier. I find using props, using chairs, straps, stuff like that allows you to go so much deeper. So I'm hoping my body's going to be saying thank you later. All right, so I'm talking through this, and I'm going to invite you now to go a little bit deeper into this stretch. Please be mindful of your Achilles tendon on the back of your heel. That's the safety note for right now. Shoulders are back into the floor. And keep moving the hands up closer to that foot. Deep breaths. We're going to start to pull that foot further back. So you're kind of pulling it towards your face. Really deep breath. Release this a little bit. I want you to slide that extended leg back. We're going to do this again. Please be heavy in the bent leg. Don't let it flop out to the sides. Ground that foot. Core is tight. And here we go. You're going to get a little further back. Let's do 3 deep breaths. And slowly bring the leg up, and you're going to bring it all the way down. Pull your strap back. Bring the right knee into the tummy, lasso that foot. This will be the last deep stretch of the night. Standing up. So just do a quick check-in before we get really into the extension. Notice how you're feeling, make sure you're calm. And then start to pull a little further back, lots of deep breathing. Negotiate the posture with the breath. So one more reminder to extend, to be pushing up through your foot into the strap. Ease up a little bit, please. Slide the left foot back. And then straighten the leg and go, oh, my hip just popped. In a good way. I wonder if you guys heard that. Wow. Whew. And I feel like we were talking about that back in the Wilson Park class days about clicky hips. And I think it's the snapping of the IT band over the grand trochanter. That makes sense. I think that's what it's from. One more deep breath in as you pull back a little further. Straighten out that leg, push into the strap. And slowly lower that foot all the way down to the sweet floor. Good. So for everybody who is beautifully pieced out on the floor right now, I offer you a couple of possibilities because we're going to go right into the Shavasana. So you can either stay stretched out on your back. That's a great place to be. You can rest your knees against each other. You can bend your knees. You could bring your knees into your tummy. If you want to throw your feet up on a chair, that would be awesome too. I'll show you what I mean by that. This is one of my favorite positions to relax, to meditate. Scooch your bum into it and then just rest your feet and maybe bring the arms up and back over top of your head. Find your spot. Find your magic spot. And I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and breathe in all the goodness of everything that you worked to release tonight. Start to deepen your breath. And if it's comfortable, you can slowly move your head from shoulder to shoulder. While keeping your breath deep and super delicious, bring your knees into your tummy and give yourself such a deep, perfect hug. When you are ready, make your way to a seated posture. We'll bring our hands together in front of the heart. So take a moment before we close our practice to just notice how you feel in this moment. The difference between now and when we started the practice tonight. Hopefully stuff is released. Hopefully we've created space. We definitely went deep. So honor your body. You can do something special for it in the next little while by either having some more fluids. I would say a hot bath or shower. That might not be the best idea in a heat wave. But be gentle with yourself and understand that deep stretching can release stuff emotionally, physically. And be gentle with yourself tomorrow if you're getting up and you're feeling a little bit tight after what we did. You guys are amazing. Namaste.
Thanks, Barb.
Thanks, guys.